Fly line twist is a problem that plagues many anglers. I'm Josh Jenkins from Scientific Anglers. I'm going to go over some of the causes of fly line twist and how to remedy those. The first place you can get twist in your fly line is actually when you're putting the fly line onto your reel. There's one right way to do it and there's a couple wrong ways to do it. And the worst way you can spool a fly line onto your fly reel is by dispensing it off the side of the flange without allowing the spool to rotate, like this. This is going to induce a lot of twist into your fly line as you're putting it onto your reel. Instead, you want to make sure that the fly line and fly reel are aligned in the same plane as your fly reel, and that you allow the spool to roll as the fly line comes off and onto your fly reel. Improper casting can also induce twist into your fly line, and the main cause here is going to be casting out of plane. A proper cast, make sure that your rod always stays in the same plane as you're casting. So I can cast like this. You can also move that plane down if you need to, but you need to make sure that that rod always stays on that plane. So I could cast sidearm as long as the rod stays in this plane. If my rod gets out of plane, either on the forward cast or the back cast, I'm going to start to induce twist because the tip top guide is now going in a circle rather than a straight line path. So for example, if I go forward and it's relatively straight, but on my back cast I have a tendency to get out of plane and come back around, that will induce twist. Similarly, if my back cast is fairly straight, but my forward cast is out of plane, it's going to do the same thing. So if my back cast is straight, but my forward cast is out of plane, it's also going to induce twist. Occasionally, the leader connection to your fly line can induce twist as well if your loop-to-loop knot isn't properly seated. Got one here. If you don't have your loop-to-loop knot completely seated, occasionally the loop of your leader can be offset to your fly line, and that can act like a propeller and induce twist in your fly line. The easiest way to do that is just to pull on it and make sure it's fully seated. But I also like to take the end of that loop in my leader. Usually when you get it out of the package, it's sort of round. I like to take it and pinch it into a point, and that will seat it into the fly line loop just a little bit better and ensure that you have a smoother transition and less catch in the air as you're casting. Okay, so we've covered how spooling your fly line, how your leader connection, and how you cast can all contribute to fly line twist, but probably the most common cause of fly line twist comes from the fly itself. If you're typically throwing flies that are wind resistant and have a tendency to twist, things like poppers or large streamers or even some terrestrials, oftentimes they'll twist while you're casting, and that will translate to your leader and ultimately your fly line. The best way to get rid of this is to use a micro swivel, and we typically suggest you attach it to the end of your leader, in between the leader and the tippet. We offer a multitude of sizes here. You can have some for trout fishing all the way up to saltwater and bass fishing, things like that. But this is going to ensure that any fly that has a little bit of twist to it isn't going to translate to your leader and ultimately to your fly line. So hopefully those few tips help you to prevent future twist in your fly line. But if you find yourself already having twist in your fly line, the best way to get rid of it is to take off your fly and your leader and take some of that line off your reel and drag it behind a boat, preferably in moving water. Allowing that line to sit on its own in water will allow it to naturally unravel itself, and then you can wind it back onto your reel, reattach your leader and fly, and go fish.